Well, this cell will be something different. What's up everybody, StevDez here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Days. It's time to continue a timeline that ended up starting with this guy, Cooler. You see, in this timeline, we're not dealing with the Frieza forces, we're dealing with the Cooler Corps. Cooler's choice in the matter actually gave Bardock enough time to go to Earth and actually save Grandpa Gohan's life. Oh, and Goku's not Goku in this timeline, it's Kakarot, contrary to the title. Or if you're watching on mobile, tap the screen and be right there. Because of Kakarot knowing his Saiyan nature, a lot of things in the series are quite different. When it comes down to it, Grandpa Gohan is alive, Kakarot knows he's a Saiyan, the Grade 8 fiascos that would have happened in that timeline would not have happened, and it's possible we could have saw the Grade 8 being used on, let's say, King Piccolo. It's very unlikely for that to happen since that battle happened during the day, but due to a butterfly effect situation, that might have happened. But that's semantics. If you want to see that in a mini-sode Monday, you know, what happened during Dragon Ball during all of this, let me know, because I wouldn't mind going through some details of, oh, this fun thing happened, this fun thing happened, this fun thing happened. Yeah, if you're interested, leave a comment below. In the last part, Dr. Gero had created Cyberdroids. Thanks for the name, A Leisurely Index. I'm gonna borrow that. I didn't mention this in the last one, but thanks to Kakarot getting energy drain hugged, there's a bit of an issue when it comes down to where he is. So, because future Videl came on Bulma's ship, it's fair to say that Bulma has the Sensu Beans, and when Videl arrives, so does the Sensu Beans. Kakarot can get back to normal. Why? Because in an earlier vote, back when the bubble allowed that, you all said that Kakarot's heart virus was spaceborne. They haven't left Earth yet! So Kakarot would be there for the battle against 17. Surely 4 Super Saiyan Grade 1s are enough to handle one android, right? No, 17 is still way too powerful, and Super Saiyan at this point is still too much of a drain on all of the Saiyans. 17 also has 2 other things working for him here. He has a motive to fight because his sister is buried in rubble down there, and he also has, well, a lot of fun toying with Videl. Future Videl here is still green. She's still not exactly the best fighter in the world. Very little formal training on her part means she's going to be easiest to take out. She can be used as a meat shield against Raditz especially. Raditz could be made into thinking poor choices. Then Bardock could be made into thinking poor choices. Then Kakarot could be thought into making poor choices. You know, it's kind of a stair-step to their own defeat. Tien and Piccolo were able to scavenge a couple of things from the lab, including Gero's body, which Gero's silver tongue actually ended up helping the busted android to be alive in this scenario. Is that a good thing? Let's find out and get into part 6 of What If Bardock Went to Retrieve Goku? According to your vote over on the community tab, which if you want to be part of votes and have a say in what happens in the timelines as far as when I need narrative help, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and pay attention to the community tab. It's definitely worth it, because this vote tells you that, well, they're obviously getting data on the Cell Project. However, I like to go by a majority. So what I do in situations that can call for it, if I'm only looking for one person and I end up getting less than 50% and then that, and there's 2 other choices, for example, I just go with the one choice. But in this situation, I can make it to where we can get a majority vote. Whenever I can get a majority vote as far as any of the polls that I suggest to you guys, I'm gonna go with a majority vote. 49% isn't a majority. Sure, it's a majority of the population going for the one thing, but It's not 50% of the population. If it was 50%, that's it. So we're gonna go also with 16's pod, because that was a close second in this race. That brings us over the halfway mark. But if Tien is carrying Gero and Piccolo is carrying the pod, how are they gonna get the cell data as well? I have an answer for that. We do still have a Krillin. And so with Gero taking the data and transferring it to 16's pod, then disconnecting the pod, we have Krillin carrying the old man, we have Piccolo carrying the pod, and we have Tien charging up a Kikoho in order to reduce everything else to rubble. The explosion of the lab is more than enough to distract 17 and allow Bardock and Kakarot to make a strategic retreat with Raditz and Videl before things further go south. Kakarot hits him with a solar flare and everybody retreats to Capsule Corp because they have a couple of androids and they know a couple of doctors. We go to Capsule Corp where everybody is recovering, thinking about their next move. And Raditz is yelling at Piccolo because, well...
What is wrong with you, Namekian? You helped the one responsible for this instead of helping us with the androids!
You saw that android. We're far outclassed. 4 Super Saiyans couldn't handle him, and now there's 2 of them on the loose.
We could have won if you all joined in. We could have just piled on him and he would have died.
You fought him, Raditz. Don't be an idiot. 4 Super Saiyans. We're unable to take out one of them. Clearly, these androids are far stronger than we could have prepared for.
Videl then comes up to split the fight, saying that some sort of butterfly effect must have happened. These androids are far stronger than the ones in the future. While bickering and trying to figure out their next move is going on upstairs, we get Kakarot visiting Bulma because, still best friends with Bulma, and seeing the good doctor getting his repairs, as well as 16 getting reprogrammed.
Well, if it isn't Kakarot, the one that I set out to destroy, do not get comfortable with this, Kakarot. I will wreak my revenge eventually. It's a shame that we're on the same team now.
The way I see it, you're fixing your own mistakes, Gero.
Don't worry though, we'll have our one-on-one.
Ah yes, speaking of that, Dr. Bulma, you may want to delete something in 16's head. A protocol that would attack Son Goku immediately. That way he doesn't attack when you activate him.
Sure enough, she goes through the data on 16's pod, finds the cell data, but she does find that protocol and is able to delete it. Therefore, 16 will not act on Kakarot immediately. In a little while, she does activate 16, and 16, under protocol, doesn't really say anything. The big lug just kind of marches out. Okay. Is he gonna be okay? Gero, being the main doctor behind the Project Android 16, says he's going to attack a massive power levels that have been gathering in one city. Naturally, Gero is talking about imperfect cell, gorging on a city. There is something to take away from this, though. If it wasn't for 16, and I applaud you all for this vote, Piccolo would be dead. Thanks to 16 being in the picture, the protocol would dictate to be sure that Gero's experiments were to fall in line. He's not just some sort of android after Son Goku. I imagine 16 would have a protocol to be sure that Dr. Gero's creations don't go off the deep end. And so, thanks to 16 arriving on the scene, Piccolo is weak but alive. This is why I said a little bit of time went by, because Piccolo would have investigated, got Kami, and still not have been strong enough. Even though he's about on par with this version of 17 now, he's not on par with Cell. However, that meeting ends with a solar flare, just like in the anime, when Krillin, Kakarot, Videl, and Tien all show up. Where's Bardock and Raditz? They decided to try to get some gravity training in. Something that would help boost them. I mean, it's clear they need to get stronger. Raditz and Bardock, though, they're keen enough to figure out that a form beyond Super Saiyan is the way to go. So they try to figure out how to make that happen. In this timeline, Piccolo and Tien, when they go on the Cell hunt, they have a radar. 16. So Cell is unable to kill as many people as in canon because he has to keep moving from city to city. Meanwhile, 17 and 18, they're kind of doing their thing, being kids, all that good stuff. Before the bug hunt begins though, Kakarot tells the group that he has a way for everybody to gain in power levels. There is a way to get stronger, like a whole year's worth of training in a day. He's also willing to suggest it with Raditz and Bardock. In this timeline, we really don't lose a lot. The idea behind the hyperbolic time chamber is it was a father-son thing. We do have Bardock and Kakarot, that's just straightforward, but we also have future Videl and Raditz. Raditz is Videl's dad in this timeline. So, the dynamic of father-son training, or father-child training I should say, really isn't lost here. As far as Krillin, he decides to go to Chi-Chi's house, since it might as well be Chi-Chi's house, Goku's barely ever in his own house, and ask Gohan for a bit of help. You see, Dr. Gero shared with him that, okay, you might have blown up the mountains all around my lab, you might have blown up my lab, but there's a sub-lab. And there's something very helpful in that sub-lab that he's gonna need. As far as Tien, Piccolo, and 16 now, they're far more influential in the fight against Cell hunting people. 16 is just too good at tracking Cell. Cell needs to be on the run far more often in this timeline. That gives him less time to hunt after the androids. He's hoping he just comes by them. And when it comes down to the androids, 17 would have gotten 18's pod out, been thankful, and they would have had all their fun. You know, destroying people along the way. Having a van, just traveling all over the world and having fun, destructive fun, with anybody. With all of these pieces in place, this is where we're leaving the timeline for now. For more what ifs in the realms of video gaming and Dragon Ball alike, and to participate in a future poll for this part, as well as a poll that's currently up on the community tab, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm not sure if there's a bell underneath my videos, but you might want to click that bell as well so you can get notifications as to what happens during videos. I have a full-time job. Sometimes things get in the way, but I'm still here and I'm still working on these videos as a one-man army, which brings me to a next point before this video ends. I've noticed a couple of people wanting to offer their help, and I definitely appreciate it. I really, really do. I may call on you in the future, especially during the Stev discussions. I have a plan lined up for that. If you'd like to directly support the channel, go ahead and check out the Patreon in the description below. I'm also going to probably get a Streamlabs for when I start streaming over on Twitch. You know, bits would be welcome, donations would be welcome, but don't feel like you have to. This is purely optional. Also on the Patreon, for a limited time only, I'm going to allow the $5 donation reward, the situation with the whole you can request a voice of me for the holidays or whatever message you want to give people.
Maybe you'll want me to do Nappa.
Yeah, Jirobi, you know, doing the corn sour and telling you a happy birthday or Merry Christmas or something.
Maybe you would like Berta to show his holiday cheer.
Or perhaps Jace at the Ginyu Fools. Oh, I'm sorry, the Cheeky Fools. So I'm just getting over that.
Either way, if you want me to show off some of my voice acting talents and give your family a nice message for the holidays, check out the Patreon, and come December 1st, the $5 tier will also have a voice message personally recorded by yours truly.
Go Patreon! Make him money! Kid Boo, settle down. So yes, if you would like a special voice for the holiday, go ahead and check out the Patreon in the description below. You don't have to keep the service, but the one-time payment will be enough for the voices. And considering he's dropping it from 25 to 5. That's an 80% off this deal.
Well, with all of that logic, he should have just opened a Fiverr. I have issues. Check out the Discord in the description below and, like the video if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Man, that was weird. That was weird.